welcome to the final cut. My name is Coins George. Of course, this is act number 2 of the 3 acts of the show. It is the opinion, where I sit down, I give my opinions on the latest ongoings of the Overwatch League, whether it's on stage or off stage, and we have some off stage news this week. Of course, it was huge. Everybody's heard about it. Dallas Fuel tank xQc has been suspended. To briefly sum up the news of what happened this past week, the Outlaws played the Dallas Fuel, the Texas Showdown. Muma, the tank for the Outlaws, in an interview afterwards used xQc's famous catchphrase against him, saying that the Outlaws rolled and smoked you guys, doggies. And then on Twitch afterwards, xQc made some homophobic remarks towards Muma. Hey guys. I just finished recording this video and realized I did not tell you guys what xQc said. I should probably mention what xQc said. That's pretty important. He told in a stream towards Muma, he said he can suck a fat cock. He would probably like it. That is what he said. I also mentioned later in the video, I kind of imply it might be a homophobic slur. I'm wrong, of course. That's not a homophobic slur. The media got me with their lingo. That's not a slur. I apologize for that, and I'm correcting myself right now, so you can't criticize me for it. Here's the rest of the video. And Muma is an openly gay player, one of the openly gay players in Overwatch League. xQc immediately regretted it. He apologized on Twitter. He said there was no malicious intent. Muma accepted that apology, but he said it. xQc said it. It was too late. The next day, things happened. Dallas Fuel tweeted out that xQc was not going to be playing in their game that day against the London Spitfire, and they said they'd be punishing him further. And then a little later, in the middle, it wasn't in the middle of the stream, but it was during Overwatch League. The Overwatch League came out with a statement about it, saying that xQc would be fined $2,000 and he'd be suspended for 4 games. And then Fuel took it as a competition, of course. And they came out with a letter, I think about 2 hours later, and said, we're suspending xQc for the rest of Stage 1. 4 games, they said 4 games isn't enough, Overwatch League. xQc will be riding the pine until Stage 2. He won't be able to practice with them, of course. That's what a suspension means. But I'm not here to argue about how many games he should be suspended, or if he should, or what, any of that stuff. No. I'm not here to do that. While all this was happening, I saw a movie. I was watching a movie called I, Tonya. It's a movie that just came out about Tonya Harding. And I thought it had a little bit of relevance to what is happening with xQc. I thought it was a fantastic... I didn't go see it on purpose because I thought it would be relevant to xQc, but it just happened. It just happened. And I think I'm here to tell you guys my opinion about xQc's importance to the entertainment in the Overwatch League. The title of this video, I, xQc... it seems like I'm comparing xQc to Tonya Harding, and I feel like I should probably start out that comparison by saying what he did was obviously not as bad as what Tonya Harding did. Tonya Harding did something, she committed a crime compared to xQc. If you don't know, in the 1990s, Tonya Harding was a figure skater. She bashed in, she and her husband hired somebody to bash in her rival's knee, Nancy Kerrigan, bash in her knee right before the Olympics, and then Nancy Kerrigan was able to miraculously compete in the Olympics, as well as Tonya Harding was still able to compete in the Olympics because she was still being investigated and hadn't been punished yet. But they both skated in it, and I talked to my mom about it, and everybody was sitting down on their couches to watch that figure skating event in the Olympics. Not necessarily to root for Nancy Kerrigan, but to root against Tonya Harding. Tonya Harding made people care about figure skating, is my point. Tanya Harding made people care about figure skating. xQc can make people care about Overwatch. Maybe that's the connection I'm drawing here. Esports needs villains. Esports needs villains. They get the people going. Villains get the people going. And when I was doing research for this, I was trying to get examples of esports villains. I can barely find any. There are a bunch of like media villains, people like me who work on videos and stuff like that people dislike a lot, but there are barely any professional players who play in LCS or in tournaments that people just like extremely dislike and want to root against. And most of those people are people with personalities. And in this age, people with personalities usually just stick to Twitch streaming instead of playing professionally. So I'm going to give you examples from the sports world. I've been watching sports forever, so I have a bunch of examples of this. The first type of villain is the successful villain. It's the team who always wins, or player who always wins, and you're just sick of it. Great example, super relevant, New England Patriots, Tom Brady. They just beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and everybody sat down and they were rooting for the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend. That's one of the only times you can say that. The New England Patriots, well-hated team. I think one of the early examples of Overwatch League. Obviously, we're only 4 games in. There's none of these yet. It takes like years for one of these kind of villains to appear. But I think Seoul or one of these teams who just seem to be dominant might be an example of that. If you don't know who the New England Patriots are, I'll just give you an example. It's just a super successful team. The second type of villain is the cheater. People who win in ways that are not allowed. Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, was infamous for that at one point. He recorded other people's practices. There was Deflategate, the thing where they were deflating balls. And Tanya Harding, the person I mentioned earlier, she bashed in somebody's knee. That's not allowed. People hate cheaters. People want people to win legitimately. And then the third one, xQc, fits into this category. It's the villains who are villains because of their personality, because they're not 100% professional, and sometimes they're bad sports. People in this category don't have to fit everything I just said. They only have to fit one. If they're just a bad sport, they'll fit into this category. But let's start out with like weird personalities. Lance Stevenson, he's an NBA player. I'm pretty sure he still plays. He's not too relevant anymore, but he used to be relevant in the early 2010s when his team would often go up against LeBron James, the current best basketball player. He did this during the playoffs. He blew into LeBron James's ear and then gave this weird look. That's just villain material, right? We see it in movies. That's like a movie type. That's like a sports movie like villain. The typical sports movie villain would do some stupid thing like that. Nick Kyrgios, I botch that pronunciation every single time I say it. Nick Kyrgios is a tennis player, Australian tennis player, who did something xQc actually did, which was throw a game. Here's the video. Yeah, he barely serves that ball and then just walks off the court before the point is even. That video, the first time I saw that video, I thought they were just like taking a break or something. No, that was an actual like point in tennis that they just played. And here's like him talking to the line judge. This guy's got a personality on him. And a lot of people, I think Nick's a great example of someone like xQc. A lot of people like Nick because of his personality, because he's got fire, because he's not all about the system and being professional and all that stuff. There are people who love these villains, right? xQc has tons of fans. We all know it. Just like Nick does. xQc and Nick and Lance Stevenson and all these villains you see are essential to entertainment in esports and in sports. A lot of people have brought up the idea of xQc quitting Overwatch League to focus on streaming only. They think he's got a personality. He deserves to be on Twitch. He doesn't deserve to be in Overwatch League. You need to be professional. You need to sit there and not say a word. That's not xQc's personality at all. I've been watching his streams. I've watched his streams many times, but I've been watching his streams specifically this weekend because all eyes are on him right now. So I wanted to see what he would say, and most smart people would shut up about the situation, right? Stop talking about it. And he's not. He's just been talking about it non-stop. That's what I love and hate about xQc, is he won't stop talking, and that's why he's a villain. But I love it because it gives me someone to root against. And don't get me wrong, I'm not openly saying I hate you, xQc. I think xQc is a really dedicated guy. I actually got to eat dinner with him when I was at E3 this summer when I was interning for Echo Fox, and he's a great, dedicated guy. Clearly cares about Overwatch as a game and winning it for sure. He just doesn't have any filter, and he's in a stream. He's saying, I'm not going to change that about myself, and no one's going to let me change that about myself. I think that's fine, as long as xQc doesn't do something like this again. xQc's got to learn to filter this stuff, because it does give esports a bad look if he's going to make homophobic slurs, or just talk like how gamers usually insult each other, which is slurs, homophobic, any type of slurs, racial. Just be clever. Do what Muma did. Do what Muma did and come up with a clever remark and some clever trash talk, xQc, because you are a clever, funny guy. Just you're better than slurs like that. I know you are. I've been talking a lot about sports drama, and I think drama has its place. It does. I think there are a lot of people on the subreddit saying, "Get this drama out of here. I just want game talk. I want to talk about what's going on in the games." And there's definitely a place for that. I have 2 shows for that in between this one, pretty much. I definitely think there's a place for that. But there is a place for drama too. But too much drama, we all know, if you're watching ESPN or Fox nowadays, Fox Sports or any sports network nowadays, you know there's something in sports that takes it too far. If xQc's father ever starts just going to the Overwatch League arena, they interview him a bunch of times and he's talking trash about the Dallas Fuel organization for suspending him. He's wearing his brand shirt that's titled BDB, Big Doggy Brand, and he's trying to sell himself. Let's not talk about that. If you don't know who I'm referencing, it's LeVar Ball. He's the father of Lonzo Ball, a current NBA player, who is covered more than the games. A player's father is covered more than sports on SportsCenter and Fox Sports. Let's not get to that point ever. That is my opinion for the week. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you want to come back and see the preview tomorrow. And I release 3 videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching.